Normally right now I would dive into a bunch of headlines and situations that could be popping off around the internet or the sports world. To be honest, there isn't really much popping off. I mean, aside from the Carson Wentz is going to the Colts stuff that has peeked its head back into the internet, that disappeared for a little bit. When Matthew Stafford was potentially a Colt, the Carson Wentz to Indianapolis conversation kind of died off a bit because everybody was like, maybe it wasn't just Carson Wentz or nothing, like a lot of people were saying, because Carson Wentz would be able to get back into Indianapolis with Frank Reich, the coach, who had him playing his best football before he got injured and became a broken man in Philadelphia playing bad football. Now the conversation has come back because what are the Colts going to do at quarterback? Is Carson Wentz going to be the Colts quarterback next year? Well, Mike Garafolo, I believe. Mike Garafolo.
Oh, yeah.
He's reporting that the Eagles and Colts have discussed a Carson Wentz trade.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
I would like to say that I have said in the past that I'd like to say that I was against this whole thing. And I would like to, because if this does happen, all right, there's going to be a lot that's going to come out, all right, of me talking about how I would feel about said situation.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, and I'm a rather large mouthpiece here in Indiana. Okay, him coming to Indianapolis would be I would assume some people would like to show that had happened, on the internet and such.
Sure.
I would like to be known. That was a much different set of circumstances then.
Yeah.
Okay, at that point, this is like Pawn Stars. All right, in Pawn Stars, you come in with something, guy who's the star of the show, fucks you over. You take the money, you leave. Okay, he sells it for a lot more money, gets on television, actually flexes on how dumb you are, and then the show goes on and moves forward, right? That's the whole show. But every once in a while in negotiations, they'll bring in an expert, and his expert from down the street will come in, and this guy happens to know everything about a goddamn Civil War gun that there's only been one of them, and the person that created it has had it for its entirety, and nobody knew it existed, but this guy's a fucking expert on it somehow. Nobody knows how that works. But then afterwards, the negotiation, they say, hey, we live in a much different time now than we did just 2 minutes ago.
That's right.
I'd like to say that same type of thing in this particular situation. Whenever I was burying the broken Carson Wentz move to Indianapolis, that's because I knew Matthew Stafford was out there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I knew Matthew Stafford was going to be out there. And at that time, there was other people, not us, saying that maybe
You send Carson Wentz to New England.
No. I'm saying, maybe Aaron Rodgers was available.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Okay, there was people saying that at the time.
Still might be.
So when everybody was just like, hey, put Frank and Carson back together, I'm like, Frank, pretty good coach. Okay, I think we've been able to see. Let's maybe put Frank with Matthew Stafford, see how that whole thing works. Let's put Frank with, and we never said this, but other people were saying this, but if you're going to say this, let's have the conversation. If you're the same people saying Carson has to come to Indy, why don't we put Frank with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
We're not saying that, but you're saying that. Now you're not saying that that's possible, so that's what I'm talking about. That we live in a much different world now. Aaron, the Packers seem to be in a very good spot. What's his name said he's not an idiot. The same guy that drafted the quarterback.
Yeah, Mark Murphy and Gutekunst, both of them. They want him in town.
And they say, hey, we're not idiots, okay? We want the MVP to be our guy. But at the time, they were saying that was... So this entire situation is very interesting for me. Because what are the Colts going to do at quarterback? Are they going to draft Mac Jones?
Ooh.
That's what Mitt's pushing hard for.
National champion.
Nobody even knows if that would even be feasible with how the draft's going to turn out. It feels like there's a lot of people that need quarterbacks. Will Mac Jones last until that late into the first? I don't know. I'm not Todd McShay or Mel Kiper. I could not guess. But it is an interesting thing now that Carson allegedly doesn't want to be in Philadelphia anymore. There's reports coming out that it's irreconcilable. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Is that a word?
I mean, close enough.
Irreconcilable? Irreconcilable. Anyways, their relationship stinks. That allegedly Carson Wentz and the Eagles. Mm-hmm. If he wants out with that contract and he comes to the Colts, was that the person that I wanted first? No. But obviously, I wasn't the only one that was feeling that way. Mm-hmm. But now we're in a world where is Carson Wentz the best option? fucking feels like that's potentially going to happen, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, because if he plays great football, everything I said bad about Wentz is going to get shoved in my face whenever I thought Matthew Stafford was potentially available and Aaron Rodgers. And then if he plays bad football, they're going to show that, and I'm going to be the bad guy that's just burying Carson. So it's a no-win at this gate, but it feels like it's probably going to happen. It's inevitable. And aside from that, that's the only thing that's really talking about in the whole sports world